bizarre and fake intelligence report was produced, which was claimed to be a conversation between me and some people in the African continent, where it is alleged that despite raising money to remove President Zuma, I'm also accumulating supernatural powers to make people disappear. That is the reason why we got to, so we had to deal with superstitious issues as the basis of what happens. That there's apparently a head which I was going to be given to give to someone, and some people were going to die so that I can become president of Umkhonto weSizwe. That was the intelligence report.
Our very own Floyd Shivambu found himself at the center of, well, let's call it a spirited accusation. Yes, folks. According to sources within the ever-so-stable MK party, Floyd, our comrade in parliamentary pandemonium, the man known for his robust exchanges in the National Assembly, was apparently on a quest. Not for policy documents, not for coalition agreements, but for a head. A magical, power-granting head, sourced from an undisclosed African nation, all in a nefarious plot to usurp the presidency of Ubaba himself, Jacob Zuma, within the fledgling MK party. I repeat, this isn't some avant-garde political satire show we're doing here, folks. This is a real allegation, made in real political spaces, by real people who seemingly inhabit a reality adjacent to our own. And the plot thickens, doesn't it? Because what preceded this fantastical claim? Oh, yes. Mr. Shivambu's visit to the church of one Shepherd Bushiri, the self-proclaimed prophet with a penchant for miraculous pronouncements and, shall we say, a complicated relationship with the law. So, now we are connecting the dots, aren't we? Malawian prophets, whispers of supernatural power, and presidential thrones. It's like a poorly written Nollywood script collided head-on with the chaotic energy of South African politics. Honestly, next time Floyd buys incense from this scam, someone's going to accuse him of preparing for a coup fueled by frankincense and myrrh. The paranoia is palpable, people. But let's not isolate this magical head accusation as some bizarre anomaly. No, my friends, this seems to be symptomatic of a deeper malaise within the MK party. A veritable paranoia pandemic, if you will. Since its dramatic, and somewhat chaotic, inception, the MK party has been less a cohesive political force and more a theater of constant suspicion and internal strife. Purges have become their go-to strategy. Loyalty oaths are probably administered with blood samples at this point. Factional wars erupt with the regularity of load shedding, and with about as much predictability. Remember the accusations leveled against other prominent figures within their own ranks. The constant whispers of infiltration, of sabotage, of individuals not sufficiently Zumified. In a political entity so heavily reliant on the cult of personality surrounding one man, everyone becomes a potential Judas in a cheap suit. In a cult of personality, you're either genuflecting at the altar of Uboba's shadow, or you're being accused of consorting with dark forces to undermine the divine order. It's a political ecosystem fueled by fear and an almost pathological distrust. In this party, you're either swearing loyalty to the shadow of Zuma or you're being accused of sorcery. There seems to be very little middle ground, very little space for genuine political discourse beyond fervent agreement. Now, let's be clear. The intersection of religion, spirituality, and politics in South Africa is nothing new. Politicians have long sought the blessings, and the perceived public approval, that comes with aligning themselves with religious institutions. We've seen the photo ops, the prayers before crucial votes, the strategic appearances at influential churches. And let's not forget the significant role that faith-based organizations play in our communities. However, the leap from seeking spiritual guidance or public endorsement to accusing a political opponent of actively seeking supernatural powers to orchestrate a political takeover. That's a whole different level of gestures wildly, otherworldliness. While whispers of spiritual manipulation and the influence of traditional healers have always lingered in the background of African politics, rarely do we see such blatant, almost cartoonish, accusations hurled in the public sphere. So, I ask you, the discerning viewer, have we truly reached the point where prophecy and paranoia are more trusted than policy and planning? Are we now evaluating political contenders based on their alleged mastery of the mystic arts rather than their proposed solutions to our very real, very earthly problems? We are out here grappling with load shedding that seems determined to plunge us back into the Stone Age, youth unemployment that's a ticking social bomb, and municipalities that are collapsing faster than a poorly constructed sandcastle. And the MK party is debating whether Floyd Shivambu went to Malawi to summon demons with a disembodied head. The irony, my friends, is thicker than a pot of poorly made porridge. So, what does this whole bizarre saga tell us about the MK party? Well, for starters, it paints a rather unflattering picture of a leadership seemingly corrupt by fragility and fueled by a potent cocktail of fear, ego, and, frankly, utter bewilderment. When your primary response to perceived political maneuvering is to accuse your opponents of dabbling in witchcraft, it suggests a profound lack of political maturity and strategic depth. Where is the robust ideological framework? Where are the detailed policy proposals to address the myriad challenges facing our nation? Crickets, my friends. All we hear are the rustling whispers of suspicion and the outlandish claims of supernatural sabotage. This incident underscores the fact that the MK party, at its core, remains a highly personalized vehicle. Its identity is almost entirely intertwined with Jacob Zuma. Any perceived threat to his authority, even one as outlandish as a magically empowered Floyd Shivambu, sends shockwaves of paranoia through the ranks. They lack a clear, unifying ideology beyond the preservation of Uboba's influence. Every challenge, every disagreement, every perceived slight becomes not a political contest to be debated and overcome, but a shadowy conspiracy to be exorcised. When a political party is more afraid of Bushiri's anointing oil than the Auditor General's report, you know we are cooked. But let's not allow the sheer absurdity of this situation to completely distract us from the underlying danger. This isn't just fodder for late-night comedy, folks. It's a warning sign. When political paranoia supplants political programs, when baseless accusations overshadow genuine debate, we all suffer. Today it's Floyd and his alleged magical head-hunting expeditions. Tomorrow, it could be a journalist accused of flying on a broomstick to gather intel. We might laugh now, but this erosion of rational discourse, this descent into the realm of the ridiculous, is how democracy is slowly, insidiously, brought from the inside out. The real enemy here isn't some phantom sorcerer, it's the erosion of accountability, the rejection of logic, and the embrace of fear-mongering.